David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. One of the things I enjoy about this hobby is making new discoveries. Today, I have for you a pen from a company which has been around for a while but is new to me, and that brand is Tibaldi. Today, I will be showing you their Bononia Bora Bora model. What I'm going to do is go over a little bit about Tibaldi, and then in regard to the pen, we're going to go over some parts and features, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it, then show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Tibaldi for providing this pen for review. Tibaldi is a company based out of Italy and was founded back in 1916 by a gentleman by the name of Giuseppe Tibaldi. Some of the first models they produced were safety pens made from hard black rubber. They even made a model for doctors which contained a thermometer inside the barrel. The company closed its doors in the mid-1960s, but was acquired by the Aquila family in the early 2000s. The Aquila family also owns Montegrappa, so Montegrappa and Tibaldi are owned by the same parent company. Since the acquisition and revitalization of the brand, Tibaldi has produced a number of licensed products that tie into the automotive industry and began producing pens that harken back to the models the company previously produced. The pen I have for you today is one that calls back into the company's history. The family name of Aquila is the Italian word for eagle, so appropriately enough, the company logo is an eagle. The pen arrives in this box. There is an outer sleeve which you can take off or leave on because it really doesn't matter because the main box slides out from the side. Inside we have a plastic warranty card, there are a couple of cartridges, and then here is the pen. This is the Tibaldi Bononia Bora Bora. The pen is made from resin and the trim is palladium plated. The Bononia model is available in 4 different colors. There is the Pearl Mist, which is a grayish white. Then there's the Seashell Mist, which is more of a red. Then there is the Martini Olive, which is green, and this Bora Bora in blue. The name Bononia is the Latin name for the Italian city of Bologna, and Bora Bora is a French Polynesian island located literally like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The pen is made from a layered resin that really varies in color and chatoyance. Some bands are darker and others are more vibrant. And there is also some parts with a small amount of translucency. It makes for an interesting combination. I also like how the cross sections of this material result in some unique patterning. No 2 pens are going to be alike with this material, but on this one, it almost looks like a fissure is in the material. The brand Leonardo uses a material similar to this on their models that they call Blue Hawaii. From comparing the two, I believe they're different materials, but look rather similar. I'll show you both during the size comparisons. Let's take a look at the cap. The top tapers to a rounded end, and then we have the clip. It isn't anything overtly fancy, but I feel it fits in well with the aesthetic of this pen. The cap angles up, and then it straightens out. And on the end, there are 3 thin cap bands. Above the band, it is engraved with the company name, Tibaldi, and on the other side, it says Made in Italy. Above the engraving there, you can see some lines. That's one of those areas of translucency, and what you're seeing are the threads inside the cap. Another thing I noticed is that you can see how this area of the cap is constructed with 4 different pieces of resin. The lines between the layers of the resins don't match up. While it would be nice if everything was aligned with the variations in this material, that's really not realistic, so something like that doesn't bug me, and frankly, I really didn't even notice it until I took this picture. There is a fairly large step down from the cap to the barrel. The barrel has a bit of a wave to it. It's very subtle. It just rises slightly until about here being the thickest part, and then it tapers down to another rounded point. The cap twists off with a single rotation, and underneath we have a very sharp-looking number 6 size stainless steel nib. It is engraved with the company name as well as the half of the eagle logo. I think it looks really clean and sharp. You'll see in the writing sample, but I do find this medium nib to be rather firm and a bit on the dry side. The nib is available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and double broad. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section begins with a small flare and is rather short. It transitions into the threads and the remainder of the barrel. Even though this section is short, I find it works well for my grip style, which I typically use close to the end of the section. If your grip should happen to rest a little further back on the threads, I don't find them to be sharp or uncomfortable. The pen is plenty long enough to use unposted. The cap does post, and it does post securely, and it's light enough that I don't feel it backweights the pen or throws off the balance. So if you like to post your pens, this will work just fine for you. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges, and a converter is provided. With the metal parts here in the section, eyedropping this pen would not be recommended. The Tibaldi Bononia Bora Bora is available from a number of prominent retailers and sells for $236. And I feel that price is reasonable for what you receive with this pen. I like the looks and the variation of this material. The pen is well built, and as you'll see in the writing sample, it performs nicely as well. Okay, now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and the aforementioned writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Tibaldi Bononia Bora Bora. Let's get another look at that material, especially in this bright light. I really like the variance of that material. It looks really nice. In comparison to the Leonardo I mentioned earlier, here is the Leonardo Momento Zero Blue Hawaii. You can see the material is a little bit similar, but it's on the darker blue side. In regard to another Leonardo, here is the Leonardo Fiore. This has a somewhat similar design, but there's a lot of differences to it. I won't point them all out right now, but there are a number. And then here is the Sailor 1911 Large. This is the sea glass version. Then in regard to some other size comparisons, we have three pens that you're going to be seeing coming up in reviews here in the very near future. First up, we have the Diplomat Aero, and this is in the turquoise. Then we have a pen from Visconti, which is the Homo sapiens Demo Stones. And then finally, we have a pen from Auto Hut. I've never reviewed a pen from Auto Hut before, but this is a rather expensive model of theirs, but something that's rather interesting, and it is called the Design C. You can see it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it is something that's very interesting, and it writes very, very well. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. This is what it looks like in comparison to the Tibaldi. And just a little more info, there will be a giveaway on this Diplomat Aero turquoise. Unfortunately, there will not be giveaways on the Visconti as well as the Auto Hut. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, here it is with the Leonardo Momento Zero and the Sailor 1911 Large. And here it is with the Visconti Homo sapiens. Here we go with the writing sample for the Tibaldi Bononia Bora Bora. This is a medium stainless steel nib, and the ink that I'm using today is Pilot Roshizuku Yamabudo. Yamabudo is one of my favorite inks. This is what it looks like. It is a little bit lighter than something like the Califolio Andronopal. And another one of my recent favorite inks is Ferris Wheel Press Royal Rhubarb, which is a nice kind of rich rhubarb color, and I care for that greatly as well. This is what the Iroshizuku bottles look like. It's hard to see, but this one is about half empty. So I've been making a decent dent in that, but I just love these bottles. I think they're one of the best designed bottles out there. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. As I mentioned, that this nib is a bit on the firm side, but it's still fairly pleasant. I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as overly smooth, but it does have just a little bit of feedback to it. I'd categorize this as being rather dry. Now you can adjust that, but it is a little bit on the dry side. So maybe a combination of a real dry ink with this right out of the box is probably not going to be a good combination. And in regard to a reversed writing sample, it is a little bit sharp, but it gets the job done. And in regard to some fast writing, there's no issues whatsoever. So there we have the Tibaldi Bononia Bora Bora. It's something that was a pleasant surprise for me, so I'm looking forward to seeing what other things Tibaldi is going to be coming out with in the future. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.